You're watching the pre-show, just waiting for everybody to jump on board, get here if they're interested in being part of the show. If you're interested in being part of the show, you can join with your webcam or your microphone, or just your microphone if you don't feel like sitting pretty on the camera. Feel free to add the Law of Attraction Montreal to your circle, so you're going to see that on the right side, I believe, a little red button if we're not already added, add to circles, and then you'll get an invite from me once you do that. So if you've already done that, you should have already received an invite from me. In a moment, I'll try that again if you're having any difficulty. If you're trying to participate live and you don't really know how to do it, just write a comment down on the Google Plus page down below here, or on the YouTube page, or on the Meetup page, or on our Facebook page, or on our Twitter page, anywhere that you can find us, write a message, and we will try to get you on board. 6:45 to 7 p.m. That's the time when you can sort of try to figure this all out, try to get your camera to work, get your microphone to work, get everything sort of set up. And then we start the show at 7 p.m. So if you're tuning in a little early, you're going to watch me just sort of setting up here. I'm in a new location. Otherwise, please hang in there. We'll be starting at around 7 p.m. Thanks. Hear you.
Okay. I tried microphone somewhere. You did it.
I'm hearing some static right now, some noise. Just going to mute it for a second. Maybe just get the mic under control there. If you want to speak, just hit unmute when you're ready. The unmute button should be at the top of your screen, right, the second icon. I don't know if I can unmute you. Yeah, there you go. I can't unmute you, so I'll have to do it.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Cool.
You still have static, or?
No, it sounds good now.
Okay, good.
Oh no, I heard there. Are you? Is it moving or?
I was doing something.
Okay, no worries. Trying to pick a word for today's joke. Did we choose a word last week?
No, I don't think. Did we? No. Lee is usually good at that, but then Lee was disconnected. Remember?
That's right.
Okay.
How about
infinity? Did you try that? Did you use that?
I haven't used that. I was thinking infinity, vision, insight, because we had insight last week. So yeah, infinity might work.
Vision is good too.
I like infinity. To infinity.
Yeah, and then we can use beyond.
That's right. Infinity.
When we still have joy.
That's right. Okay, what a great idea is going to be Jardin sans frontières.
Do you have any idea who's going to be there?
I'm not 100% sure who RSVP. I know that I'm still hearing a lot of noise. It sounds like you're in a fight.
Me. It sounds like, yeah, everything is super loud today.
It could be. Are you on a mobile on a?
Oh, you know what? I have my cell phone that's made close. Let me get it really far away.
Okay.
Maybe that might do something, because I know sometimes I can hear the static. But other than that, it's just
But are you using a computer or a mobile device?
a computer. My usual computer.
And the microphone is built into the screen, or is it a separate microphone?
No, it's not built into the screen.
Okay.
It's a microphone that I have to plug into my tower.
And does it stand up? Is it like a sort of?
No, it's a little flat thing that sits on the desk.
Oh, interesting. And it's not moving?
No, not right now.
It sounded perfect now. For the past minute or so, it's been perfect. So.
Okay, but it sounds like if I move just a little bit, just myself, you hear everything. Usually you don't.
Try and move again.
It's my chair.
No, that sounds fine. Nothing.
Okay, I don't know. It's close to a speaker, but it usually doesn't seem to.
It didn't sound like that type of static. It sounded like if the microphone, and you ruffle it against you.
Yeah.
Don't realize that it makes noise, but inside the microphone it makes noise. But right now it's sounding good, so you don't have to worry about it. If anything.
I know what I pulled the curtains, and the curtains are kind of against the wire of the microphone. That might have moved it just a bit, or even just static.
Yeah, that's probably it. Okay. Who RSVP today? I don't see Lee on here. I know we're going to have some viewers, but there's another person, *888, and I don't know who that is. So we'll see. I know Joanne is at work right now. Lee, I don't think he's in Montreal. Okay. And so we'll have to see. Let's see what this looks like. Does that read backwards to you or forwards?
No, it's fine. It says infinity.
Okay, great.
Missing the dot on the eyes, but it looks nice that way too.
This is it's my font
type. Or maybe I don't see it. I don't know.
It's all capitals.
Okay, all capitals. I found I was looking for an app. I was about to create one. I don't know anything about creating apps, but I was looking for an app that would kind of those pieces of papers that I keep talking about, where I have those words on them, and I wanted something super simple. I mean, it's nice with pieces of paper, but for some reason I wanted it on my iPhone. I wanted something where I could write those words and just, have them like flip through them, or just pick one at random and something like that. And I couldn't find anything. And then yesterday I found something. I looked at handwriting or something like that. And actually, I don't even know the name of it because it doesn't say the name of it. I'll have to look at my apps that are downloaded. And it's not really for that. It's more like for taking notes, if you want to handwrite some notes.
Okay.
And but it's kind of nice because you can choose all kinds of colors, and the handwriting is nice as well. So I have a long list of all my words, and I can kind of flip through them, and then just stop at random, and then focus on that one. So it's kind of neat. But I felt a bit ridiculous because I was like, well, pieces of paper is just fine. You don't need anything. But it's like I want to do everything with my phone now.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. That's when I actually was looking for exactly that app about a week ago or so to replace these notes that I've been taking, and I found something, but I had to pay for it. It was a sort of speech writing app, but the other apps, you want to look for either flashcards or cue cards. But
yeah.
Still, it was all about studying. Like, it gave you words and then definitions for them, and I really didn't find something that really fit the bill. But those are the keywords you want to use: cue cards or flashcards.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because that was my problem. I couldn't find the keywords.
Yeah, that can be a little challenging. But I'm surprised there isn't an app that just a simple thing. Maybe there is.
Why would people use it? Like, who wants to write just one word? I don't know. It's just, and it's not just. I wanted to flip through them like you flip through cards, like or pictures, the same way you flip through pictures.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, today is creativity, so that's good because that's where I was. I was like, okay, well, it'll come to me. I'll find something.
Well, a sort of DIY way of doing it would be you can actually take, you can actually search online for like the word that you're looking for and get an image, and then you can put those images in an album, and then you can flick through the images like
Yeah.
images.
Yeah, that's it. It's just
It's a little more effort than than just writing it down.
Well, I had fun. I mean, at least I had fun yesterday entering all the words and changing the colors and letting the color come to me. It's like, okay, this word, because of course I just wrote it on a piece of paper, so it's in black or in blue or something.
Mm.
Okay, respect. What is the color for respect? And that's like the color I thought of yesterday. I mean, today maybe it would be red. Yesterday maybe it was yellow. Who knows? And it was just that it was kind of fun.
Nice, very cool. I like that. I like the sort of playing around. Sometimes it doesn't really seem to matter, like what color you choose, blah blah blah. But I mean, that stuff is significant. I downloaded this app that allows you to take a picture of the room that you're in, and then tap the wall, and then change the color of that wall, but inside the image. And I have no plans on painting a wall. I've never painted my wall. The only wall I ever painted was my first room I got on my own, and it had all black walls. So we had to paint it. Not that I wanted to, but my mom says, Peter, you're not going to be staying in an all black room. But otherwise, just having it white is cool. But I love sort of just imagining what it might look like in aquamarine or something. Just fun of it. Actually,
Changes the feel or the perspective of the place.
Yeah, you never know. I know you talked about rearranging your place. You've done it so often that there's no combination that you haven't tried. I like that sort of rearranging your space.
It's amazing how it feels very different after that. Or even when, for example, I had at some point had some people that came over. I was gone for a couple of days. My mom came over to visit, and I was gone with her for a couple of days because they were replacing the carpet by what do you call it? Du plancher flottant. I don't know what it's called in English. I can't remember the name of it.
Maybe just floating floors, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be that. And it's amazing. I don't even know how they did it. It was like almost magic because I came back and my furniture was pretty much in the same place, and I have no idea how they took the carpet out and then put something under. You know, it was kind of. But still, of course, I went. You could tell. I mean, I needed to. They had a lot. There was a bit of dust and stuff like that, so I had to clean the apartment. And just doing that, there was such a very different feeling after. The energy was so different, and it felt great. Like there was, a lot of space. And when I rearranged the furniture this year, or when I even painted some of my furniture, it changes things. It's like sometimes one piece of furniture that's gone changes the whole feel of the place. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's very interesting how that works. It's very interesting how it works. Like, I'll go through my wardrobe, and I don't have that many clothes to begin with, but I'll like ruin one piece of clothing because of a hole or a stain, and then it feels like I've got no clothes left. Like the whole stuff has been shuffled around.
Yeah, I know. I know.
But that actually goes into the conversation about creativity that we're going to be having today. It's about like rearranging patterns. Rearranging your patterns is really how you create something new. And so, yes, it might seem like the only thing that's gone is this has been moved and that has been moved, but what you've actually done is change the entire pattern. The entire pattern has been changed. If you lost the nail on your pinky finger, it wouldn't be very consequential to you, but you'd think that you were wholly changed.
I'm sure, yeah. Well, first of all, it would probably hurt.
Yeah, I know.
Not. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the minute we hurt it like a little bit somewhere, it's amazing how we have to adapt and how it changes everything.
That's right. That's right. Okay, look, we're going to start the show. 7:06 it is. Okay, so just make sure I have my stuff here. Talking about Creativity. How long have you had your iPhone for?
About well, I got my second bill, so I'm getting to my second month.
Nice. How are you liking it?
Loving it. It's following me everywhere.
Yes.
And you know, but the only thing is, like, because I'm using it so much, I guess, I need to recharge it all the time. So this is nuts. The other phone I had, I would charge it once a week, but then I wouldn't use it. I would barely use it to call people or for people to call me. So.
Well, make sure that, okay, so on your iPhone, you know how you can scroll up the control center from the bottom?
Yep.
So when you scroll that up, oh, sorry.
I'm not going to go and get it now because I'm going to have some kind of static.
I understand. No worries. But this is the biggest drain on battery. So on it, you're going to see here, that middle one is the Bluetooth. You want to make sure that it's not on. Bluetooth takes up a lot of
really?
power. Yeah, and it's usually on by default, and you don't need it 99% of the time.
No, I only need it when I'm in the car, actually.
Oh, okay. So if you use it for that, then you'll.
Yeah, I need it in the car, but that's, well, yeah, yes, I need it in the car if I want to talk to people. People want to call me, but otherwise, if I'm using my GPS in the car, then I have to turn the Bluetooth off because otherwise the GPS won't talk to me.
Oh, weird.
I know this. Yeah, this is. I know there was a time with the other phone where for a while it worked. I had both. Like, people could call me and I could still have the GPS talk to me. And then we did a reset on that old phone, and then it didn't work after that. So I had to turn the Bluetooth off. And it seems it's the same with the iPhone. So.
Weird. Maybe I'll take a look at that. But if you do turn off the Bluetooth when you don't need it, it will save up a lot of battery.
Thank you, because most of the time I have it on.
Yeah, and if you're out somewhere, you're out of the house, you're not near Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi thing is still on. If you know you're not going to use it for a couple of hours, turn off the Wi-Fi, because even if you're not connected to Wi-Fi, your phone is always looking for service, and that action takes up power.
Okay, yeah, I'll do both. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I wondered about the Wi-Fi. Never even thought about Bluetooth at all. So thank you.
No worries. Okay, here we go.
I assume you're loving yours.
Oh yeah, I'm loving mine. And Sam just got an iPhone too, so it's fun when other people are in the club with you, you know. Okay, 15. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Start the show. Hi, my name is Peter Hartman, and you're watching The Appreciationist. Thank you very much for joining us. On tonight's show, we'll be talking about creativity. Creativity. What does it mean to you? How can you be more creative? We're going to get into that in the later half of the show. But before we go any further, let's introduce the people in the room. And by people, I mean very important person.
Hi, I'm Val, or Valerie. I'm here every Wednesday. I love it here. I wanted to say that the reason I love it here, Peter, is because you create a space that feels safe for me to express any kind of opinion that I may have, whether I agree with you or not. And this is why it's such fun for me every Wednesday. And also because whatever we talk about, I always learn something, I always get something out of it. I love new perspectives, and then trying it on just like you try on some clothes or something like that. So I love that, and it's the same in our group discussions. So and I assume this is why people keep coming, and I'm saying thank you to you, but also to Sam and Tom, because all of you guys have created that environment. So this is that's it.
That's really awesome. That's really kind of you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I could say the same, you know, what you just said there, I'm going to have to steal that from you. You want to try on ideas like you try on clothes, like for the fun of it, to see how it fits. I've never thought about it in that way, but that's really wonderful. And I get as much out of it as you do. I really, whether it's the effort it takes for me to formulate an idea, or to see how it's received and questioned, or to hear the perspective of another person, it's extremely valuable to me. I look forward to these sessions every week. I'm really glad that you're here, Valerie. I appreciate that.
Glad to be here.
Perfect. So today we're talking about creativity. if you have any questions about creativity, you can post that down below on Google Plus or on our YouTube page if you're watching it there. We have someone monitoring that, so hopefully if we get your questions, we'll get them in. If you're watching on Google Plus, there's a button that says Q&A. You can ask your questions right there. You can start putting it in now, and we'll take a look at that later on. If you want to participate with the show live, you can just show up at 6:45 p.m. So that's 15 minutes before the show starts, and you can just make sure your webcam works, your microphone works. We see how you're doing, how your week is going, get all the introductions in order, and then you can pop on over for the start of the show. If you just want to watch, feel free. If you want to comment, feel free. The next thing we're going to do now, a segment, my favorite segment during the show, called A Moment of Appreciation. And the reason we do this show is to really take a look back on our day, on our week, and pick out things that either went well or things that we can look back and see how they were of value to us. Not only recognizing that they have value, but choosing to draw enjoyment from it. So for our Moment of Appreciation, would you like to go first, Valerie?
Sure. Well, it would be a change if you went first, actually.
Yeah, I could go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Look, Valerie, last time I saw you, we were at the social potluck picnic. And so it was the first picnic we did this year. I think it's the first picnic we've ever done. We've done potlucks, but no picnics. And we had a great turnout. A lot of people come out, bringing food, having a good time. It was new for me. I felt like a fish out of water. It's something that I don't normally do. And I really loved the experience of trying something new and meeting new people. It's really the reason why we do stuff like this. If you've been following us for any length of time, you know that we have something called Mingle, where we get together. It could be at a bar, it could be at a restaurant, it could be, this time it was outdoors, where I want to put people in environments where they might not usually go, they might not usually be, but in that environment with like-minded people was a lot of fun. And so for me, for really feeling like a fish out of water, not really knowing what to do outdoors, sitting out under the sun without my computer, without being able to talk as much as I wanted to do. But it was fun just seeing how everybody was just getting along. It still stays in my memory. So that was really a strong point for me. But I actually had two other moments of appreciation. So there was the potluck. Last night I went out with my brother Tom. We went to a burger place, M Burger, where we had a delicious triple A grade meat burger. It tasted very delicious. Then we saw the movie Edge of Darkness with Tom Cruise. I'm not going to spoil it for you, except to say it's a really good movie. You definitely want to check that out. And then the last thing was I felt such appreciation for everybody who voted for my dream in the Dream Merchant, Marchand des Rêves here in Montreal. I put out a call at the last minute to try and get votes in order to win this contest. Unfortunately, I didn't win the contest, but out of it came a useful video and learning more about how to promote things on Facebook and things like that, and the willingness of the people who contacted me for me to win, for me to share this. I felt love in my heart for everybody who participated with that. So I just wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you for everybody who voted for my dream, for Happy for a Change. It was very well received. How about you, Val? A moment of appreciation?
Well, mine, first of all, I love yours. They're great. They're beautiful. I was at I had fun too. That was one of my big moments as well. But honestly, this morning I woke up and I was thinking, okay, what is going to be my moment of appreciation tonight? And it was amazing because I looked at my week and every single day there was something. It was like an incredible week. And I realized it somewhat, but not as much as I did this morning. So it was like, wow, this is pretty amazing that every day was like really I had something that was...
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so... I mean, including some meals where you go to a restaurant and you order something and because it appeals to you, but then it's like such a nice surprise and you're like, oh my God, this is delicious, as you were talking about the burgers, So like little moments like that, but that are actually intense because they're beautiful surprises. But yeah, you can hear my cat in the background. She's not happy. Actually, if I have to pick one, it's kind of funny, but it's the one where I stayed home on Sunday and was just by myself in my apartment with my cat and my books, and my windows were open. And but I think it was because of a contrast. It was busy all week, and then I had fun with people and everything. But it felt also so good to just be home and have nothing else to do but read, and well, I called a friend as well because I hadn't had news, but so also when I made that call, it was all about her, and I made it a point that it was all about her. I wasn't calling to give her news. I was calling to get news from her and give her that time and that space, and that felt good. But otherwise, I was so appreciative of my environment. We were talking about it. I'm so grateful for this apartment. I love it. I've always loved it, and it's this environment has only gotten better and better all the time. So I'm very, I guess when you focus on something, as you always say, then it's more part of your experience, and that's really what's happening with this space of mine. So that's it.
That's wonderful. That's really cool. It's very nice. It's great when you have that. Sometimes you have to sort of dig deep to find your moment of appreciation. Sometimes it's just a wealth of options available to you. It's really cool. I envy you just being able to sit down and read a book and just not have anything to do. I actually was a little under the weather this week, and because of that, I was able to really give myself permission to just sleep and to recover and to do better. And so I felt a little of that sort of joy this week where I had stuff to do, but because I wasn't in the mode to do it, I just sort of enjoyed reading, lying down, taking a nap. I took a nap during the day. Oh my goodness, naps are so horrible, but this time was actually pretty good. So I know.
So good. Come on, when you need them, even if it's 5 minutes, they're the best sleep ever.
I usually wake up from a nap feeling way more tired than when I got into it, but it's because I'm always feeling like there's something to do. But sometimes being sick lets you know you've been working yourself too hard, and now it's time to take a pause. And when you're willing to sort of listen to what your body's saying, then you can really derive the satisfaction from it. I felt really good listening to your moments of appreciation because it's fun when it's like that, where you can either take time out for yourself or just call someone up and not talk about yourself, just hear everything about them. Just giving someone that space is just one of the best things you can do for someone. So I was really glad to hear that. Thank you very much for sharing your moment of appreciation.
You're welcome. Can I comment briefly on the nap? I used to feel the same about naps. It's like, it's in the middle of the day, we should be doing something else or whatever. And I used to wake up also feeling tired, more tired. But I realized it was all because of what I thought about naps. Yeah. And once I gave myself permission, once I said, you know what, my body needs it, I'll give it to my body and I'll see. And then now I wake up refreshed, no matter how long it is. And sometimes I only sleep 5 minutes. Sometimes it's 20 minutes or whatever. And I don't take naps every day. I do it when I need it. Yeah. But I usually feel very refreshed. I can get out of it real fast. And if I don't, if I'm still a little sleepy for a while, then I allow that as well. I allow myself to wake up slowly, And so that's, I don't know. I just thought maybe, you might want to try that.
You know what? I agree. Like I said, this week the nap went really well, and I think it's because I sort of gave myself over to it. I knew I needed it. I knew it'd be good for me, and I just did it. And usually I sort of struggle against that because to me, falling asleep it almost feels like giving up.
Oh, giving up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say something more drastic, but I decided to go with giving up. It feels like giving up, like you have to turn your brain off, and I've been wholly unwilling to do that, but this week I was able to, and I agree with you. I think the more you give yourself over to it, like everything else, the more it can wrap itself around you, and you can really get the benefit out of it.
Yeah, less resistance.
Exactly. Don't fight yourself. Okay, well that's a good segue to talk about. Actually, no. Before we move on to the subject of creativity, we have our joke of the week. We can't skip the joke of the week.
That's right. Don't skip that.
No, exactly. Okay, so we have two. They're two short ones. Okay, so if you can tell, unlike every other time, I'm not home right now. I'm at someone else's house. I'm at Samantha's house. We've gone out for a picnic today, so here we are. So I don't have my cards, but I wrote them on a piece of paper here. We're choosing joy, which was left over from last week. I think this is the third week for joy. And then now infinity. Infinity.
I'll choose joy.
Joy.
The good thing you have your phone, so you brought your joke with you.
Yeah, no, I did. Now that it's on here, I don't have to worry about it so much. I used to be looking for my cue cards every week. Okay, joy. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's a short joke. So we use the word in order to pick a joke. The word has nothing to do with the joke. It's just a tool that we use in order to pick one. If you want to use a word, want to volunteer a word that we use for next week's joke, feel free. It's going to compete against infinity, and I think beyond was suggested, so I really like that. But if you have any other ideas, please send them in. So the joke for this week is, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I wondered why the Frisbee was getting bigger, and then it hit me.
That is a short one. That's right.
Yeah, it is.
Very apropos with the picnic that we had on Saturday.
Oh yes, that's right. A little on the nose, more in the eye. Someone borrowed our Frisbee. Trying to be nice, kind. You give the people who are celebrating next to you the chance to use your stuff. Use your Frisbee. Bang! They got it in their own eye.
That's it. So yeah, it got bigger, and
That's it. That hit me.
stop wondering why.
Perfect. Okay, let's move on to, so before we get to the topic of creativity, I want to talk about a segment called What a Great Idea. What a great idea. What we do is we give our attention to great ideas, ideas that uplift us, ideas that empower us, and I think that the more attention we give to these great ideas, the more they become a part of our experience. So you just want to check this out. I was sent this this week by my lovely co-organizer, Samantha. She sent me Jardins sans frontières, Gardens Without Borders. It's here in Montreal, and there's these people that go around and they create gardens. They use public spaces. They use lots in order to grow food, and it's incredible. It's going to be on our Facebook page at the end of the show. You definitely want to check that out. Jardins sans frontières, Gardens Without Borders. Really cool.
In Montreal.
In Montreal. Can you believe that? I got to contact them.
About that. This is nice.
Yeah, I'm hoping to contact one of them to do an interview for the show because I want to hear how they got this idea off the ground, why they do it. You just look at these pictures, they look like happy people. I'm not an outdoors person, but I can tell you almost for sure that I'll be going to participate with these people before the summer is out because it just looks like a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah, so please check them out. If you look, you can find it on Facebook. They have a Facebook page, Jardins sans frontières, Gardens Without Borders, or you'll find it on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Law of Attraction Montreal. You'll also see it on happyforachange.com, so please check that out. Okay, so today we're talking about creativity. Creativity. So this was suggested. We talked about this last week, Valerie, about creativity, inspiration, where it comes from, and I've been pondering it a little more, wondering a little more about it, listening to some documentaries, some talks about creativity. I wonder, how would you define creativity? So just off the top of your head, the definition that you would provide. We're not looking for the dictionary definition. We're looking for what it actually means to us.
Well, it's at first I would think, like you're inventing something, or you're coming up with something new. But I know better. It's I really believe that every possibility is out there, and then at some point you resonate with it, or it resonates with you, or something, and then well, we talked about this. At some point you're in the right environment, and then it comes to you, and then you do something with it. It's I think it's the meeting of two vibrations that are probably matched. If I think of it in terms of law of attraction. But I didn't always think that way. I really always thought that you had to create. It was completely new. Like, you were creating something. Creating meant you're coming up with something that has never existed before. But I don't see it that way anymore.
Yeah, that's the initial definition that I come to, right, or that I hear expounded by others. It's this idea that of producing something new. That is the test of creativity. But then when you really think about it in terms of what's new and what's old, and you really start defining those terms, which we won't do here too much in depth, you realize, well, either nothing is new or everything is new, right? If we show a bowl of fruit and I draw that bowl of fruit, or I take a picture of that bowl of fruit, artistically, and you take a picture of that bowl of fruit with the exact same camera in the exact same place, well, we're still doing two processes. This is my vision, my timing, your vision, your timing. There's always going to be enough of a difference between each action that you can actually define it as new, or a modified version, which is a form of new. But then you realize, well, I mean, new, old, we're locked within these definitions of time and space. What is really new? What is really old? Can we really tie creativity to something that is new? So, if someone does a remix of a song, is that a new song? If someone does a cover of a song, is that a new song?
No, and yes.
No or yes, right? Exactly. It depends on how you look at it. You could be like, oh, he's singing the same song in his voice, or you could say, well, he's adding his voice to the song. It's his version of the song. So versioning, this idea of versioning, this modification of previous patterns, I think that's where we get closer and closer to what creativity is. Creativity to me is, at its very basic nature, is the reorganization of patterns. Whenever we reorganize patterns into any other form, then we are engaged in a creative process, even if what we create has been created before. If we build, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that because you're improving. Well, again, improving or not, it all depends on the person who's looking at it or hearing it or evaluating it. Evaluating it. Yeah, it's. Yeah, everything, as you said, everything can be unique, or everything is the same. It's
exactly. And so that line of thought brings us to a junction. It brings us to the junction where we have to separate the creative work from the creative process. Right? The creative work, the object, what is produced by the action of creativity, we might call that creative, that's a creative song or that's a creative painting, but that work, I believe, falls outside of the definition of creativity. Creativity, to me, is not so much what is produced, but the process of producing it. The process is creativity. So when you look at a painting, when you look at a woman, when you look at a landscape, and you say, it's beautiful, well, beauty is not a thing. Beauty is an interaction. It's an experience that you're having. It is a phenomenon that emerges by the interaction of your outside environment, your inside environment, meaning your interpretation of it. Mm-hmm. Beauty doesn't exist in the painting. It exists within you. It exists within the eye of the beholder. But we think of beauty as a thing having beauty, as a thing, meaning a quality within something. But that thing doesn't have the quality of beauty. You assign the quality of beauty to it. And in there, I think we get closer to the truth of creativity. Creativity is not defined by the work that it produces. It is defined by the experience, by the interpretation of that experience. And so then we reach to another junction. Does creativity require meaning? Does it require meaning? So what's the best way to put this? Dr. Amit Goswami, he says that creativity is not just the act of reorganizing patterns, so you're remembering what was and you're constructing a variation on it. You're also imbuing it, infusing it with meaning. And it's the meaning that creates creativity. But I disagree. I don't believe that meaning is necessary for the creative process.
No, I agree with you. I don't think so, because, and I guess if I hadn't experienced it myself, I wouldn't be able to tell you that. But years ago, a friend of mine was helping me deal with a back problem that I had, and we were working kind of psychologically on it. And she had told me to draw some mandalas. Is that how you call it?
Yeah.
And I don't do it anymore, but I did it for a long time, and I had so much fun with it. I had all kinds of, colors and shapes and all that kind of stuff, and I really let things come to me. It's like, okay, I'm not even going to try to make it look pretty. I'm not even, I'm just going to go with what. There was no meaning behind it. I didn't even have. I mean, now I have kind of titles for those drawings, but at the time I just went with what came to me, and there was nothing behind it, and it was actually very freeing to do that. and then to see the result, you know, and not try to control it. That was also what was good about it. I don't know if that was the point of the exercise, but so there, I mean, I created something. Some of it I love, some of it I don't. Some of it are surprising, but I still created something, and there was honestly no meaning behind it. I mean, my intention, I had nothing, no intention really, except to experience the process.
That's right. And so would you call that, would you say that what you went through, there was no creativity involved? It was just creation? Or do you believe that despite the lack of meaning or conscious meaning, that creativity was still involved?
Yeah, I still believe creativity was involved, and I can't explain why. It's just a feeling. It wasn't just creation. There was more to it. Well, I think it's because I believe that we're all connected, and I believe I was connected to something that was flowing through me. But I was part of it as well. It was like a teamwork kind of. So this is that's how I see it.
That's right. I like that. I like that teamwork, sort of the union, the unity that you have. So you're just part of a process. Because I came to the idea that there must be a separation. So we can say human beings are creative. Human beings are creative. I think generally speaking, we can make that claim. To whatever degree they are, lesser or more so, depending on your interpretation, but human beings are creative. But then I ask myself, is a tree creative? Is a plant creative? Are planets creative? Is the sun creative? Is the universe creative? And at first level, you think, well, it can't be, because somehow you feel like consciousness is required for creativity. But then I thought to myself, well, when a rose evolves and grows thorns to protect itself, that's a form of creativity. That's evolution's creativity.
Yeah, and who are we to decide? Then we go back to the definition of consciousness. Who are we to decide that a rose doesn't have consciousness, or that the sun doesn't have consciousness, or you know?
That's right.
But it's a very good point that you would think that yes, you would need to be aware for creativity to be there.
That's right. So then I realized, well, the creativity that I have as a human being is obviously different than what the universe has, or what the sun has, or what a rock has, or what a plant has, or a dog, or an insect. They may all use varying degrees of creativity in order to actualize the creative process, but it's clearly different than mine. So I separate it in meaning human consciousness creativity and other creativity. Now, when I look at evolution, I see evolution as a extremely creative force. And when I look at evolution, which is separate from human beings, I think I get closer to the definition of creativity when I realize this. Creativity is the reorganization of patterns. And the way we reorganize patterns is by actualizing varying possibilities, varying potentials. And so you'll look at nature, for example, which is a wonderful example of various ways that plants have discovered, or animals, or whatever it is, has discovered to protect itself. So you see turtles have shells. They don't have claws. They don't have sharp teeth. They have shells. You have skunks that spray their musk all over the place. There are roses with thorns. There are other plants that are very high, so they can't be seen, or very low. And so in nature, through the evolutionary process, I see an immense amount of creativity. Not human creativity, but true creativity, the reorganization and the actualization of potentials, of varying patterns. And I think it's a mistake to say, in order to be creative, I have to be conscious of it in the way that human beings are conscious of it, because then you can tell yourself, then sometimes I'm creative and sometimes I'm not, which gets you in the bubble of, how do I become more creative? And Valerie, I think you might say, well, you are already as creative as you possibly can be. It's just you are more or less aware of it at certain times.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. The awareness is the difference, and then when you were talking about evolution and all, whether it's nature or anywhere in nature, then creativity is there the minute that we're adapting to anything.
That's right.
That's the minute we need to change, or so it's present all the time.
That's right.
Again, something that's happening all the time without us having to do anything about it.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And I think when the artists, any artist, no matter what they're creating, when they put themselves in that zone, more often than not, I think they would describe it as allowing themselves to connect to an experience that is ready for them, as opposed to making it happen.
Right, I agree. It's like there's a river, it's flowing, you jump in or you don't.
That's right, exactly. And so that negates the sort of feeling that people have sometimes. They say, well, how can I be more creative? How can I engage with something more creatively? And I think the first step is realizing you are always being creative, which nullifies the resistance to I'm not being creative. So you're always being it. And then you start asking yourself, not how can I be more creative, but in what way am I personally creative? And we're all creative in some way. We all do some creative thing. My mother, when she was growing up, I asked her, did you, like when you were a kid, did you sit down and imagine things? And my mother grew up, she raised her family, her brothers and sisters, and they lived in these conditions. And she told me, no, I never imagined. I didn't have time to be fanciful and imagine. But she told me the story one time when she was a kid, a youngster in elementary school, and her mother used to give her a penny to buy fruit. I don't know if I told the story already, but she gave her a penny to buy food. So in my country, in Guyana, back in those days, a penny could get you a lot. It could get you a sandwich, it could get you a drink. But she would not buy her food. She would go to the grocery store and buy 2 fruits. And then she'd come home after school, cut up the fruits, and sell the pieces or sell fruit in front of her house and get 2 pennies back for the one. And then she'd give her mother a penny, and then she'd continue the process. Now, that is creative,
yes.
Right? But she wasn't thinking, oh, I'm being creative. She wasn't thinking I'm using my imagination and being childlike. She was just doing something that she felt was logical. But even in logic, even in your actions, your everyday actions, those are creative too. So then I tried to tell her, Mom, you are as imaginative or creative as you could possibly be. You're just less aware of it than you think.
That's right. Yeah, I think this is what happens with all of us. We don't think we have it, but then we're doing it, and I guess we call it creativity when it's more art, or when it looks like art, when it's music or drawing or painting, or
or new or something new.
Yeah,
something new that we store it in the part of our brain that says that's creative. We define it in those ways, and that's perfectly fine. Like, that's why I compartmentalize. I say there's a human creativity, and then there's creativity. So I'm talking more about the experience of creativity. But when we define it as your perception, then that's a different type of creativity. It's the human form of it.
Right.
So the easiest, the best, the closest definition that I got to creativity was this so far. I believe that everything exists in this field of probability, of potentiality, in the state of could be or could not be. And it's always oscillating between these 2 states to varying degrees. And sometimes there's an actualization of it can be or it is to a greater degree, and then we get thingisms, we get thinking, we get the process of beingness, the objects of our universe. And I believe creativity is what arises. It is the process of converting potentiality, possibilities, into actualities. That conversion process is creativity. It's the reorganization of probabilities into more here and less there. And then when you convert potentiality into actuality, you get form. Form is created when the energetic patterns are concretized, are cemented into a specific form, and then you get a thing that has either never been seen or is different than what was before, and we call that thing the creative work. But creativity is that process of conversion. So when an artist is trying to tap into a song or trying to draw a painting, what they're doing is they're tapping into the possibilities, the potential of what could be, and they do it to such a degree that it then forms into thoughts, and then thoughts form into visions, and visions form into pictures and ideas, and then they transmute it, they convert it into a physical experience.
Right.
So
Yeah, and I think when artists like that, when they have inspiration, and maybe there's more of a meaning in there, but I think there's like a force that you have to manifest. You have to do something with it. You have to take action, and so the potential, it has to come out and do something that is concrete in the end. But I think that your point of making us realize that we actually create on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, even maybe minute to minute, but just the fact that we realize that we create all the time, then it empowers us. And then whenever we need to be more aware of our creativity so that we can use it to solve something or to change something in our lives, then we feel we can. And that's I think that's what's important.
That's exactly right. That's very good. That's exactly it. If you can start with the assumption that you are always creative, then you bypass the step that says I'm not creative and what do I do about that? Because the more attention you try to put on why you're not creative and how you fix that, the more it becomes a part of your experience. Now, sometimes people go in that direction, and in that direction they convince themselves that they are creative, but I think that's just starting at the finish line, running the race backwards, and then running it forwards. So really realizing that you're already creative is a wonderful first step. And then if you want to be more creative, which I think is a natural sort of question that comes out of this, to be more creative, you want to give your attention, give more of your attention to what could be, meaning give more of your attention to varying patterns. The more patterns that you can consume, that you can make a part of your consciousness, make a part of your experience, the more you'll be able to draw from, the more your universe will be full so that you can draw from it and create something new. So I know there are musicians that they sing hip-hop music. That's what they sing. That's what they love to sing. But nothing stops them from listening to rock music, listening to country music, listening to chamber music, just to get ideas, because being exposed to something wholly different, especially something that's completely foreign to you, can only add more to your experience for you to draw on. So if you want to be more creative, just give your attention to more possibilities, more things. And the further that thing is from what you recognize as normal, the more you can be inspired by it.
Well, that's right. I think it opens your mind. It's just and makes you see things from a different perspective, and then you can be influenced by it.
That's right. I hear a lot of stories about writers who, when they get writer's block, they'll leave their neighborhood and they'll go to either a bad part of town or something just to sit down in another environment to write there, just so the noises are different, the sounds are different, the smell is different, just to change things up. And I know if I'm trying to solve a problem, it could be a computer problem, it could be a relationship problem. I know one of the best ways for me to solve that problem, if I'm really knocking my head over it, is to change, to refresh, to change what I'm giving my attention to, so that I can draw from a new wellspring of experience to create, to actualize something something that I would consider to be new or fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So look, there's a lot more we can talk about with creativity. Maybe we'll do a group discussion so we can really get into it. But I think that was a good conversation about it. What do you think?
Yeah. Actually, I would welcome a group discussion on it. I think it'd be well. That's what I wanted to. I knew I had forgotten. When we realize that we are creative, also what comes with it is that we can have fun.
Yes.
Like, if there's a challenge, anything in your life, and then you have the power to change it or to try to change it, and because you do have creativity, well, then I think I know this is how I see it. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, you're a victim for a couple of minutes, and then you're like, okay, wait, no, I've got creativity. Oh, well, all right, creativity. So just the word itself is like, oh, okay, let's see how I can have fun with that now. It's almost like a game, and so if you can use it that way or look at it that way, that's also it lightens things up a bit,
That's an excellent point and a wonderful point to end it on. If you want to be more creative, the practical advice that I can give you is when you're walking home, when you're going home, traveling home from work or to work, don't go the same way that you do all the time. Right? Have fun with it. when you're trying on your clothes, when you're going shopping, don't try on the clothes that you would naturally always wear. Try on something different. Have fun with it. When you're thinking a thought, when you're having an argument, when you're dealing with whatever you're doing, try not to do it in the same way. Not because it needs to be done in another way, just because you're going to have fun doing it in a different way. And when you do it that way, then you activate, you create this habitual sort of pattern in your mind that causes you to ask yourself, how can this be different? So that when stuff hits the fan, I was going to say a different word, when stuff hits the fan, when things go out of order, then you practice this thought that says, how can I see this differently? How can this be done differently? And then you're off on the races.
That's great.
Awesome. Look, I want to thank you, Valerie, very much for participating in the show. You're always welcome. Thank you to everybody who was watching today. I just wanted to let you know the upcoming meetups real quick. January 13th, this Friday, we're doing an event at Burritoville downtown. It's a room that we rented upstairs. It's really a lovely place. Come and check that out, Infinity. That's June 13th. Ask any question that you want, and you're going to get answers, really complete answers. June 15th.
And if you don't have any questions, you're still welcome.
That's right. If you don't have any questions, I promise you I can stir the pot. You'll get some questions. Otherwise, I'm sure there'll be some troublemaker there with 100 questions, and we're really going to have a lot of fun. If you come there, what you get is, instead of just me talking, you get to ask questions and tailor the experience. So, talking about a creative process, it's like sculpting your own sort of event, and you really get the shape that you're wanting. So I encourage you to come out. It's really my favorite type of event to do, and I really want to encourage you guys to come out. June 15th, we have the Appreciation Walk with Samantha Barley. That's going to be at the Verdun waterfront. So if you enjoyed it last time on World, she'll be doing it again on June 15th at the Verdun waterfront. So please check that out. You can find all that information on meetup.com/TLOAMTL. That's meetup.com/TLOAMTL. You can find all of our Law of Attraction information at thelawofattraction.ca. And please take a moment to check out happyforachange.com. And please don't forget, next Wednesday, 7 p.m., be here for another episode of The Appreciationist. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's what I was supposed to remember. There's no episode next week, Wednesday. There is nothing next week, Wednesday. It's Samantha's birthday. We're going to be doing stuff with her. So please
Happy birthday, Samantha.
Happy birthday, Sam.
Skipping it.
So we won't be here next week, but we'll definitely be there the week afterwards. So yeah, ignore that last statement. And I know there was something else I was supposed to mention, but I can't remember it right now. Lee, I know you just did your event this past weekend. I read the reviews; it was really good. I'm really glad that you did a good job there. And Valerie, I want to thank you one more time for participating, not only in the social potluck, but here today.
No problem. My pleasure, always.
Take care.
Bye. Have a good week.
You too.
Thanks.
Thank you one more time to everybody who voted for my dream, Happy for a Change. Happyforachange.com is a philosophy of really taking personal development and personal empowerment and turning it into real social change. Because I believe that when you improve yourself, you improve the world. So how much better could you feel if you were sitting down in your house trying to feel happier and realizing that you were not only improving your life, but all of the lives of everybody that was around you? I really want to help and create people and activate the creator within yourself, your creative mind, your creative imagination, to engage with great ideas to make them part of our world. Please check out Jardins Sans Frontières, that's Gardens Without Borders. They have a Facebook page. It'll be on our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Law of Attraction Montreal. And please, not next week, but the week after, 6:45 p.m., you can participate with the pre-show. Get your camera ready, get your microphone ready. We'd really love to have you on the show. Thank you for everybody who's watching. Thank you for taking the time out. I appreciate you all. Take care. Bye. See you. Go on. You can stop. You can stop the video. It's done. Oh, I have to stop it. Okay, take care.